वेद हथियार जत बहारा तीरज सुनिहार जत बहारा भाव खना अगन दा बुलाओ भाव खना अगन दा बुलाओ भांडा भाव अमृत तित ढाल भांडा भाव अमृत तित ढाल जग बहारा धीरज सुनिया घड़िए शब्द सची टकसाल घड़िए शब्द सची टकसाल जिनको नदर करम दिला जिनको नदर करम दिला नानक नदरी नानक नदरी नदर निहाल जग बहारा धीरज सुनिया पवन गुरु पानी पिता माता धरत महत दिवस रात दोए दाएगा दिवस रात दोए दाएगा कीले सकल जगत कीले सकल जगत चंगियाया बुरियाया चंगियाया चंगियाया बुरियाया वाचे धर्म हदूर कर्मी आप अपनी कर्मी आप अपनी नेड़े के दूर नेड़े के दूर जिनली नाम गीत मुखे उजले गीते छूटी नार जत बहार धीरज सुनियार अहरण मत वेद हथियार We are now reaching the final stages of the journey that we started a few months back. Let's take a quick and a brief look so that you can see the continuity of the thought, the process, how far we traveled on this road, and where Gurbani is eventually going to lead us. We started the journey by saying this is what the Creator is not. It is impossible to say what the Creator is, so Gurbani gave us some hints, said, well, if it is impossible to say what it is, let's come from the other side and say what it is not. So we saw Nirvair, Akal, Swabhang, Ajuni. All those words were used to indicate the reverse of what it is. Because what it is impossible to say. Hence, to hint at it, to draw a word picture, we said Akal. We don't know how to put him in time, but we can certainly relate with the timelessness. Having said that, then a hint was given that to get to that Satchitanand, that ultimate blissfulness, the journey of a Sikh, a Shishya, a disciple, starts with the word Jap. Jap is not only the title of the Bani. Jap actually is a instruction. It is direct order, direct message. If you want to get to that stage, then do this. Jap. And then right behind, it's elaborated. Jap what? Who? And the shloka comes and says, Adi Sach, Jugadi Sach, Hai Bhi Sach, Nanak, Hosi Bhi Sach. Jap who? Whom? Here are the characteristics. Make sure that you do not pick up anything else. Why? This is a very, very common question by the youth. Can I not take any word? Why it has to be this? One of the gentlemen who was newly married and wanted to impress his wife, and he asked me, I love my wife so much, can I not repeat her name? And turn that into a meditation. I said, good luck to you, son. Of course you can. It will accomplish one half of the process. Definitely will accomplish one half, which is the process, which is the repetition part of it. But those words that were chosen, they had some other mystical, intrinsical purpose behind it. And we, from time to time, have been hinting at it, saying that any meditative word must form a circle. It must go along with the breath. It must create the sound from 3 specific points within the body. The first point is the Nabhi. The second point is the place where the tongue touches the palate on the top, the dome, and the last spot is where the tongue touches right below the teeth to the gum. That's a journey. Incoming and outgoing. So, those of you who are familiar with the Eastern alphabet, all of the Eastern alphabet was phonetic in nature. So there are 35 consonants and they are paired in 5 each. And there are 7 spots. If you repeat the ka, kha, ga, kha, cha, cha, ja and put your attention as to where those words are being produced. Pa, pa, ba, pa, where is coming from? You will find that they are all starting at a single point. Every time you change the row, the sound has come up. U, ah, ha, they are 5 sounds which absolutely use no part of the muscle, hence they are open-ended. Then you start with ka, ha, and it starts at a certain point. Then from that point onward, it will start traveling outward, and that's why these are called phonetic languages. They were designed phonetically, sound-wise. That's not accident. It was purposely designed that way. Now, the people who are familiar with the Persian side of the script, they will have difficult time in relating with it because the Alf, Be, Pe did not follow that. Similarly, all of the Greek and the Western, the ABC or the Latin, they did not follow phonetic science behind the words. Out of that, you get a secret that so long as you are picking a sound that's produced, one sound produced at the front of the mouth, one used in the middle of the mouth, and one used from the bottom of it, you will form a circle. So you can take any word that covers those grounds and it will become a meditative technique. So now when you look at the most popular one, say them with full awareness. Allah, Allah. A open, La touches the, and Ha opens up. Amen or Amen, the Christians. Amen. Amen. Okay. So Hung, Buddhist. Om, Vedanta. Gobind, Namdev. Ram, Vaheguru. Look at these sounds. They were picked specifically so that they constantly touch that circle. It creates that circle. So the answer to the question, yes, you can take any word and start the repetition part of it and it will break the habit pattern. But in order to create the atmosphere which is metaphysical in nature, spiritual in nature, you will eventually have to fall back on something more mystical than just the name of your wife. So the Bani started, said, you need to jump. You need to take a word and you need to start on it. And then it started us on a journey and said, well, up till now, this is what people have been doing and here were the pitfalls of them. Soche, Sochana, how we started. Those were the 4 methods that were prevalent at that time. Meaning thereby go on the journey on the holy places so that you become clean, pavitrata, suchita. Go sit somewhere quietly, chupe chup. Go and put that body through the discipline so that you can control the senses by starving the senses. Or go into and study Jnana Marga. Sahasyan Palakhoy. So, Gurvani gave us those prevalent methods and said they all have this problem. So, in the modern time, what should be? Well, you don't need to make that complicated. How do I get there? It gave its own image right away and then went on to expand on it. The answer was learn to live in the will. Learn to understand what the will is. Hukam razai chalana. Understand what the raza is. Understand what the will is. Understand what the hukam is. And then learn to live without judgment, without complaint, without anything. Learn to do that and your mind-body system will move. Consciousness will shift. So then what is that hukam? And Gurbani started explaining that. Hukmi uttam neech hukme lekh supaiye. And we went through that journey. And eventually it came and said, look, You have to use this body to do that. And this body has 5 karmindriyas, 5 things that which you do actions with. Each of the karmindriya except one will create some type of a problem, because you will have to apply an energy to do something. Hence the I will come up. I speak, I see, I eat, I walk, I touch. And then Gurbani said, well, wait, there's one karmindriya in which you cannot claim I, and that is your ear, the listening. You do not listen. You may decide not to listen, but listening is not within your control. You are not doing anything. Why? The ears remain open all the time. You may have to open the lips to talk, eyes to open, but the ears are always open. So you cannot put the word I listen, I hear. So use that karmindriya properly. If the proper mindful listening starts, then Gurbani gave the Sunay Siddh Peer Surnath Sunay Dhar Dhavala Ka. So there were 4 stanzas on Sunnah. And we went through that journey, how to use that. And then, if you have gotten the mindful listening, then the next stage, Gurbani said, well, now you have been listening with that capability called mind. So, keep evolving. Now you're going to go where? Where there is no mind. Manna, manna, where there is no mind. Manna ki gat kahi na jaye. If you get to understand and apply that stage, then you will get to a space which is called Manne Pave Mohdwar. If you get to the no mind, you will start getting the glimpses of what you've been chasing after. And then Gurbani went through various other places where the people have tried different steps. And we were given the concept of positive and negative energy, asankh japa asankh bhav, and then asankh murkh andhakor, asankh nav asankh thav. We went through that journey, that there are people attempting, yet missing the point because they are making more complicated than it has to. The I keep coming back into it. I enjoys, the ego enjoys something only when it is difficult. There's no fun in saying, yeah, here it is, simple. It will first make it complicated and then solve it, and then take, see how complicated it was. It will never show you that I made the complications in it. There was no complication in it. And Gurbani walked us through all of those stages. Last stage that we together looked at was what the yogis, the most prevalent system of meditative stages at that time was yoga. Not Patanjali's yoga, by the way. Patanjali's yoga was practiced, but not in that environment. This was Gorakhnath, the yoga, meaning thereby have the fire and do certain type of chanting, sitting the fire. So we went through that. Munda Santok, Saram Bhath Joli, Dhyan ki kare befut, Kintha Kal Kuari Kaya, Jud Danda Partit, Ai Panti Sagal Jamati, Manjit Jagjit. We went through all of that. And now Gurbani said, okay, I have given you what you need to do. You have been given what others' process so far have been. You have also been explained what are the pros and cons of those processes. And now, at the final stage, Gurbani absolutely outlines its own process. Say, okay, here is how simple it is. You do not need to make it complicated. If you want to, it's up to you. Understand that you are, instead of helping the ego to come down, you are actually strengthening it. Watch for that. And how do you watch for that? Gurbani said, if you want to get to on that stage, Dharma Khand, you must go through the Gyan Khand. you cannot start the process, should not start the process, which is getting into the Sarma Khand. Look at the sequence of these khands, stages that we have talked about. Gyan Khand, तो बाद after that was धर्म खंड. धर्म खंड का ये हो धर्म, ज्ञान खंड का आंखों कर्म. So if you are onto the dharma khand, if that's what you want to get to, then you need to understand what? Gyan khand. You need to go through the Gyan khand of the process, which is kete paun pani mein sadar, kete kaan mahes, kete bar mein ghad ghadiye, roop rang ke ves. In other words, you are going to develop and spend some time in trying to understand the creation before you can get to the creator. So you will spend some time. And when you start slowly peeling that onion, you will start seeing the creator hidden behind the creation. And therein lies the beauty. If you have not gone through it, the next stage is Sarmakhand. Sarmakhand meant now you're going to sit here and work. You are actually going to do the work that you are called upon. You are given this body form to perform the work. That will be done in a Sarmakhand. What is happening in a Sarmakhand? And we discussed that a couple of sittings ago. Sarmakhand ki bani roop tithe kadat kadye bahut anoop. What's going to happen? We are going to hammer and chisel something. Kadna. As a sculptor take a stone, and what does he do? Does he create a statue? I submit to you that he does not create a statue. Statue is already there. He just removes something that is hiding it. Whatever is the excess material, he is going to take that chisel and start knocking it out. Whatever is going to emerge from underneath it is already there. That's why Gurbani uses that parable and say, whatever is going to come out of you is already there. So what are we giving you? Say, well, I am giving you a hammer and a chisel. What is a hammer? Hammer is that Gyan, that knowledge, that awareness. With the help of that knowledge, that awareness, you will start chiseling the things out which are hiding the creator inside you. Because if you cannot see that within yourself, you won't be able to see it anywhere else either. So the creator is not to be looked at in somewhere else. So even though a lot of other mystics came on this earth and said that, but to bring it down to the practical implementable steps was not attempted before Nanak's time. So Guru Nanak now gives it a physical form, a physical shape. He says you are going to go through Gyan Khand. Tithe Kadiye Surat Mat Man Buddh. After the Gyan Khand, you're going to sit in the Sarma Khand and you're going to do something. You are going to hammer it out. What? Surat Mat Man Buddh. Tithe Kadiye Sura Siddha Ki Sudh. You are going to now get to the stage what the Siddh and Yogis and all those things, they took years and lives. If you just understood this simple process and got on it, you will be surprised on the impact of it. Once you are out of the Sarmakhand, and what is the sign that you are done with the Sarmakhand? Bani says, all of the energy that is scattered around would get so focused, so powerful, that it will burn a hole through any place where it goes. Now the mind is not scattered anymore. It's not running around. It's not hankering. All of the pulls and pushes of the senses would have disappeared. Tithe kadiye surat mat man buddh. Tithe kadiye sura siddha ki sudh. And then when that happens, say now you are ready for the karma khand. कर्म खंड की बाणी जोर तिथे होर ना कोई होर. Jor does not mean Shakti, power, as some other thinkers have translated it as. That's not how I see it. Jor means Jod. To now you are ready to be joined with the ultimate energy. You are now ready to become part of it. But that becoming part of it is not your doing. That's why that is part of the Karam Khand and not the Sarm Khand. Because if achieving any objective was enslaved by or as a cause and effect of a karma, then naturally the karma becomes higher and this becomes a reward. That creator, that energy, that godliness, whatever you want to call it, is not second to anybody or anything or any process. It manifests when it is ready to manifest. All you have done is created the environment that if it is ready to manifest, you are not the hindrance. That's why in Karma Khand, Karma means His grace. Karamat. Karma is not action here. Karam Khand ki bani jor. To meet Him is required His grace. To be one with Him, ਉਸ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਹੈ. Without that, all that you have done, that you think you have done, would be all waste. And it has happened to gazillions of people. They work and they work and they work and they get to something. There are some indications that they are on the right path, and then they put their stake in the ground and say, guess what? I've been doing this for so long a time. And look at my achievements. Look how many people follow me. Look how many people are listening to me. Look how many people are bowing to me. So, I must be God now. So we declare ourselves Bhagwan right away. Whether somebody else declares or not, we declare it. And Indian consciousness is very easy to call everybody Bhagwan. That's very simple. His Holiness Shriman 108 is all, around the corners. Very easy. We are very free with these titles. Higher the title, more the title, further away from the reality the individual is. Remember that. Anybody who's claiming that actually has gone away than getting closer. So Gurvani says, there you do what? You just wait. Out of the 4 stages that you are going to go through, and that's another controversy, some people call it 5 stages, and we had talked last time, we clarified that the 5th is not a stage. Sachkhand is not a stage, because it is all pervasive, all pervading. Now you are becoming the part of the cosmos. That's not an evolutionary thing. That is actually getting lost. That's actually merging. That's throwing back. That's destroying the identity, eliminating everything. There is no stage that can be attributed. That's why that word is not Sachkhand. It is Sachkhande. Gurbani, if you read carefully, you will find 4 times Khand is spelled differently than the 5th time. And there was a purpose behind it. So those 4 stages that you are going to go through, which are the stages of evolution, 3 belongs to you. You have to work at it. 4th does not belong to you. There's nothing you can do. Why? Because it starts with the Karam Khand. It is His Meher. Is it His grace? You have no contribution in that. You have nothing in that. Karam Khand ki bani jor tithe hor na koi hor. You are in the Karam Khand only when there is nobody to claim that I am in Karam Khand. Tithe hor na koi hor. There is not even an awareness that I am. If there is awareness, then the ego stays. It is such a subtle thing. So simple, yet so slippery. How do I claim that I have done it? If there is a need, a desire, an urge to declare it, then go back to the Gyan Khand and get back to the Sarma Khand. You do not belong here. You're wasting your time. It's churning the water. Nothing is going to come. The urge from within to say something. At that time, that Zen koan becomes very helpful. Remember that story of the 4 disciples to whom the master said, go sit on that hill and you have to do nothing except don't talk, just be quiet. And they sat all day and the darkness came. Sun started going down and now they can't even see the other's face. And the one looks at the other and say, well, there's no lamp around here. The second one says, you stupid, master told you to not to talk. And the third one says, you both are stupid. And the fourth one says, see, I'm the only one who hasn't talked. I'm the only one who hasn't talked. Don't be that fourth one. The urge to declare the silence tells that there is an ego. Silence cannot be declared, it can only be lived. It can only be experienced. It can only be. It cannot be demonstrated. Humility cannot be claimed. I am your humble servant. Actually, you are not. Otherwise, there is no need to say, I am your humble servant. Be humble. Show it. Don't say it. Show it. Let your action show your humility. Not your declaration. So, in Karam Khand, Tithe Jod Mahabalasur Tinmay Ram Raya Parapur Tithe Sito Sita Mehma Mae Take Roop Na Kathne Jaye Nao Mare Na Thage Jaye Jinke Ram Vase Manmahe. That word that you started with now has become the part of your existence. It's no more repetition of anything. And that stage is Tithe Bhagat Vase Ke Loy Kare Anand Sachaman Soy. So that is when you actually become the true Bhakti. Bhakta. That's when you become true devotee. When you get to the Karma Khand. From that point onward, it is Sachkhand. Sachkhand is the total creation, total cosmos being part of that. So, उसका पाठ है Sachkhandai Vase Nirankar. The Nirankar, the one who has no akar, nir akar. Again, understand these words are coming from the negative, not from the positive. Our word for God is Nirankar, nir akar, without form, shape, name, anything. We do not address that energy with anything direct. So, this was the journey, and now the question is, okay, I understood everything. Whatever you have so far explained, I understand. Now, bring it down to earth and tell me, how do I actually do it? What is the process? What is the method that came from Guru Nanak's house? In the last stanza, that method is declared. Now, those of you who have read it repetitiously and may not have seen through it as to what it is, today we together will unravel this mystery. If you see that through the mystery, the journey would be complete. It starts with, say, Jat Pahara Dheeraj Sunya. So it's putting some conditions. That if you're going to get on the process, in yoga, that was the last thing we talked about, they had a little pot. Pahara, the things in which they put something. To hold something. In order to hold something, what is required? It says jat. Jat. Jat means what? The flow of the energies that is causing the outward attraction that need to be brought back. That is jat. If the eyes are too crazy to look at all the sceneries, you want to either train it to close, or train it to not to be attracted, or close it. Don't create an environment where the energy automatically tends to run out. Don't create that environment. When you are going to sit on the meditative state in the platform. So, first thing you want to do is you want to create a dedicated space. 2 by 2 square foot by 2 square foot is more than enough for you to sit down. But sit down at that spot every day. That's it. Nothing else required. Put a dedicated place, and in that space that you have created, create an environment which stops the energy from going out of the 9 open doors. And we have talked about those 9 open doors. Okay? Both the eyes, both the ears, the mouth, the nose, the flow of the waste of the body, all of those are doors through which the energy goes outside. So what you want to do is say, jat. Learn to block the energy from going that way. Jata Pahara. Second condition. Dheeraj Sunyar. He says, look at it, because Ghadana, we are going to hammer out, right? Now, there are 2 professions which do that job. One is a Sunar, the other is a Lohar. Goldsmith and the ironsmith, blacksmith. They both hammer. They both have chisel. But we have a saying, 100 sunar di te ek lohar di. Means what? The goldsmith's stroke is going to be so delicate, so deliberate, so accurate, so slow. He is not in a rush at all to do anything. Because he is hammering on what? Some necklace, a bangle, earrings, a nose clip. These are so minute, tiny things that he cannot afford to rush it. Whereas a blacksmith, an ironsmith, he will have the iron hot, he will have a 15 kilo worth of hammer, and bam, and one stroke, that's done. He said, well, that's not the process this is going to be. It's going to be like a sonar. Dheeraj, meaning thereby patience. Don't put this is not a something that you can put in objective. In 4 weeks I'll be here, in 10 weeks I'll be there, in 10 years I'll be there, and by the age I'm 50, I will have achieved Buddhahood and I will have my own ashram running around. This is not a target-oriented business. It has no timetable. Hence, dheeraj. And the concentration of a sunar. Those of you who have ever gone to a goldsmith and looked at that he has one eye covered with the magnifying glass. The other eye is open and he's talking to these guys also. Those new customers coming, he's not ignoring them. Yet he has a hammer and he's looking at it as he's working at the same time. At the bottom, he has a white sheet of cloth. Why is that? Because even if a fraction of the gold was to fly off, it is so valuable a metal that he cannot afford to lose that much. A sharpener, it should fall on the white cloth, and white cloth and the yellow gold, he can see the comparison and can recognize it immediately. And Gurbani says, look at this. A sunar can afford to put a white cloth underneath so that he can pick up the yellow gold. What will you do when that creator who has no color disappears from your concerned eyes? How would you locate it? What is the means available to you? Other than that concentration. Once you lose the concentration, it's gone, there's no way to recover it. So, Jat Pahara, Dheeraj Sunyar, Aharan Mat, Ved Hatyar. So you say, now I am telling you, what are we going to do with it? You say, I am giving you a hammer of the knowledge. Ved. Ved doesn't mean the Char Veda. Ved means the knowledge, the awareness. Gyan Khand. You have already learned that. That's your now hammer. And what is the hammer going to do? He says it's going to hammer that intellect. It's going to mind. It's going to do that. It constantly, it will want to follow the old habits. You're going to want to bring it back. In a very, very nice, caring, loving way. In a compassionate way. If you have put together a pattern of life for not only X number of years in this pattern life, but how many lives, such lives, do you think it's going to change in a day, in an hour, in a month, in a year? So don't lose patience. Don't hurry up. And keep hammering. And it will keep on forgetting. It will keep on going back to the old pattern. And you bring it back in a loving way and you start hammering again. Don't get exasperated with it. Don't get mad with it. Don't get angry with it. If you do that, you fall back. Why? Because the anger is what you're trying to control. Exasperation is what you're trying to control. Why? Well, very first lesson, will. If it's not happening, it's will. When is the will is, it will happen. You continue. Well, why it's not happening right now? As soon as you say, why it's not happening right now, you fall back. In just doing that, without waiting for the answer even, if you said, why is it happening now? It's gone. That is how much carefulness is required. Jat Pahara, Tiraj Surnyar, Aharan Mat. It's a beautiful symbol if you can visualize. Aharan is what we call anvil in English. A piece of metal that sits in front of the technician. Everything he heats or colds or bends, etc., comes on top of that. And then another hammer comes. So this iron at the underneath has to absorb strong enough to absorb every stroke at every temperature and not fall apart and not break. Because if the anvil breaks, then there is no way you are going to be able to make your ornament or you sharpen your weapon or anything. So it says not to break, but absorb the hammer of the Gyan, the knowledge. Aharan Mat. The intellect, which has so far grown so much out of control, and you start hammering at the word of the Guru, and it has happened to too many people where they were picked up from the house and then put in some sanatorium to spend the rest of their life because they just couldn't absorb the hammer. Either they got exasperated with the continuous perceived failure. Why I say perceived failure? Understand, there is not a stroke, there is not a hammer stroke in life which does not do any damage. No matter how invisible it to you, every time you take a hammer and strike someplace, it has already done its job. It may not be visible to you. You may think, I've been hammering, this thing is exactly the same. Right? Or you can take a stone and take a hammer and hit it once. It doesn't break. What do you think? Something has happened to it? The answer is absolutely, positively, categorically yes. You just don't see the inner cracks that it has started. So don't give up. Don't fall apart. Every time you fall down, hey, I made up my mind I want to get up 4 o'clock every day and I overslept. Okay, that's fine. No crime has been committed. The earth hasn't shifted from the axis. Get on with it. Well, I keep doing that, but that's not good. I keep on excusing myself. Oh, so you want to be judge of yourself? Huh? So you think nobody else can be judge? You want to be judge. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. Guru says absolutely everything is right. Everything is happening for its reason because that is his will. You just follow. You just march on that path. Don't withdraw back. Why? Ahran mat. Ved hathiyar. Use that hammer and keep on hammering. No matter how often, how harder, how stronger, continue. And then what? He says, here is now the technique, here is the method coming. Bhav khala agantaptao. This is what you are supposed to be doing. That smith who has a little furnace of charcoal also has a little instrument which is made of wood and the chamdi, the skin, and animal or goat skin or some skin. जिसਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੌਖੜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਉਸਨੂੰ ਪਾਉਖਲਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ. He says this is what happens in that instrument. He holds it with the one thumb here, forefinger here. When he opens up, the whole thing opens up and the air goes in, then he closes it. When he closes, the air pushes through it and burns the fire. He says, look at your body. It is a paukala. Every time you take the breath in, it expands. Every time you push the breath out, it contracts. So now you're going to create fire with it. What is that fire? You take that word and you join the word with your breath. As the breath goes in, the half of the word goes in. As the breath comes out, half of the word comes out. It becomes a cycle, and start repeating it. Start saying it till agantaptao. Start feeling the heat from within. So when you sit down, and it matters, look, Gurbani has not said that you should only say this word. If any Sikh tells you that Guru Nanak said that, he is misleading you. Guru Nanak never said that you should only say Vaheguru. He says, Ram Ram bol bol khoj te vad bhagi. Govind 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 sange naam deo man leena. Ad dam ko chipro hoyo lakhina. Anybody, anything, whatever is to you. The technique is use the body as a paukala and understand that you need to do it how long? To feel the heat from within. Agantaptao. Now, why is that condition? If I was to boil the water and I put it on the stove and leave there for 2 minutes and I see it's lukewarm, I pick it up and put it down again. Then next morning I put it back on, warm it up for 2 minutes and put it down again. You think it will ever become the steam? It has to be left there for long enough so that it gets to a boiling point. Same is the case here. You have to leave the body, mind system in that environment long enough that it starts seeing the shift in consciousness. If you just sit down for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, not that it's bad, but don't expect to see miracles because you are not leaving it long enough to create what? Agantaptao. You need to do that. Now, Kabir told us within the Bani that the minimum requirement on for an average person. And he gave the formula. We never probably paid attention to it. He says, Kabira, ek ghari, aadhi hoon, phuneyad, bhaktan seti goshte, jo kino, sola. We translated it that Kabir ji is saying, even if you sit down for one fraction of a second, it's good. He said exactly the opposite. He said exactly the opposite. He said ek ghari, meaning 24 minutes. One ghari is of 24 minutes. Adhi, that means half. 24 plus half, 12, 36. Pune, again, 12, the half, 6. 36 plus 6, 42. Pune, Ad, 6 the Ad phir, 3. That's 45 minutes. And Bhagstan, he's saying, you need to be on the minimum, do what? Bhagstan seti goshte. Meaning, not seti doesn't mean with them or amongst them. He says, the way the Bhagat, seti means as they did. You start doing also. Bare minimum requirement, 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes in the evening. Why is that? Now, here is another game that was played with us and which no other institution will ever dare declare it. Sikhism has never asked for a daswand in money. 1/10 in money. It has never asked it. We made it. It said 10% of your time devoted to Guru. Daswand, 1/10. How is that 1/10? Well, out of the 24 hours, if you're going to sleep about 8 hours, you're going to stay awake 15 to 16 hours of the day. What is 10% of that? Is it an hour and a half, 10% of that? That's what's being asked of you. Of your life, 7 days a week, 24 hours out of that, find an hour and a half, devote it to the meditative process. Bare minimum requirement. Now, I'll promise you that if you sit 45 minutes once and do nothing but find what happens to you. Just experiment it. Just one day. You are not used to it. The throat will try. You will feel, little bit of a coughing or irritations or whatever. Whether you are sitting down, lying down, walking, it matters not. Just try for 45 minutes, concentrating on the word, and see what happens to your consciousness. If it doesn't work for you, drop it. What have you lost? Why I am saying with that confidence? You want to say Gobind, you want to say Ram, you want to say Allah, you want to say Ameen, say. Why I am so confident? Because Guru Nanak gave it to Angad and he proved it. In less than 6 years of practice, he gave it to Baba Amar Das at the age of 62. He took 12 years to get to that stage. Same method. Jugat eka, jot eka jugat sae, seh kaya fera palatiye. Same technique. Jugat eka. The same jot that manifested in Guru Nanak, Jot Eka Jugat Sae, same technique. Sah Kaya Fair Palatiye. Everybody who followed the whole life pattern, Kaya Palat gayi. But we can sit and argue and defend and say, well, this is no good, somebody said this, do that, somebody said it's so many malas and so many rosaries and so many, they are much easier to go every day and light a candle someplace. Knock yourself out. But I will ask you one question, which you need to ask yourself. You don't need to answer me. Whatever method you have been following so far, what has it done for you? Where are you now? At this stage of your life. If you look 5, 10, 20, 30 years back and say, I started doing this as a regular state, meditative process. What has it done for you? Is the anger any under control? Is the ego under any control? Is the greed any, is the attachment any lesser? If any one of them has actually come up then going down, then something is fundamentally wrong. Something has drastically gone wrong. And if you want to get out of that, Gurvani says, here is a technique. Pao khala, agantab tao, bhanda bhao, amrit tita dhao. And what is a bhao? In Gurvani, this is a special Punjabi word. It is a compound word. Bhao. It's not bhavana. When there are two characteristics combined together, love for somebody and at the same time complete belief, trust in somebody. When those two characters combine, that's called bhav. And I have given this example before. When there is a little child running around, everybody loves the child. But if the child says, open this door right now because I want to get out, bacha, it's a kid, he doesn't know. We're going to ignore what he says because it's coming from a child. But we will love him. The reverse of it, a wise person sitting, man or woman, you may not be in love with the person, but if he or she says, you know what, the kid is right, why don't you open the door, let the wind comes in a little bit, it's getting little. Okay, syane ne kiya. Makes sense. A wise person has said it, that makes sense. You are not in love with the person, you probably don't even know the person, but the words have a faith element to it. What? It's coming from a grown-up person, a wise person. On the path of spirituality, the both things are required. The love for the word, the love for the guru, the love for the God will bring you on that path. But if you don't have any belief in it, faith in it, then whatever is said will be completely lost. And that's what we are doing, all of us. We go to our temple, churches, gurdwaras, masjids, etc. And we go there and we do the thing, and whatever is said there, we leave it and come home. Why? Because we do not have the actual belief or faith in the word that's being said. It makes no sense. It is full of contradictions. I was only, last week somebody, and I think I shared that here a few days back, that somebody brought me the lines, Sab gun tere, main nahi koe, ven gun kite, bhagat na hoy. That's, we talked about in Japuji, and he said, I don't understand why you are asking me to meditate. Look at these lines. They say, Sab gun tere main nahi koe. That means all glory and all positive qualities belong to you. I have none. Sab gun tere main nahi koe. And the next line says, Ven gun kite bhagat na hoy. Since I don't have any good quality, and it says without good quality you cannot meditate. Ven gun kite bhagat na hoy. So, perfect translation. Gurbani cannot ask me to do meditation because I have no good, I have no characteristics to do it. All characteristics belong to him. What an interesting way of getting out of what you want to get out of. And I said, yeah, it is an apparent contradiction. It will appear you to be contradiction, but there is absolutely nothing contradictory in those statements. Because the way you have translated is not what it's saying. When it's saying sab gun tere, it's not saying to tera, it's not pointing out to this. Main nahi koe, it's not pointing to I. Not me, this is not body. That I is not the author, is not saying tere vich hai to mere vich nahi. That's not what's being said. The statement was, all of the positive characteristics are only possible if the entity is attached with tu, tera, not me, mera. Because if it is mera, then that is by definition has become an avguna because there is an ego attached with it. Main nahi koi. There can never be any positive energy associated with the word man. It is impossible to do a good karma by saying, I am doing it. And anybody who has any idea what Arjuna learned from Krishna in Mahabharata, he would understand. That was the single most important message in Gita. Why are you becoming the doer? Why are you taking the responsibility of doing? Well, I am fighting. Am I not sending the arrow? No, you are not sending the arrow. Well, I am aiming. No, you are not the aiming. Would you stop saying that? And he's lost. Krishna, would you please explain how when I am picking up the bow and arrow, I am putting it in, I am pulling it up, I am aiming at somebody, and somebody is dying out of the arrow, and you are saying, I am not the doer? How confusing. And 18th chapter, all the 18th chapter in the Gita attempted to clarify just that one thought. You are not the doer. Stop taking that credit for it. Because the energy that came to pick up the arrow and bow is not your creation. Who gave you this energy? Where is this energy coming from? The capability to aim is not yours. It's totally possible that you just pull it and the bow breaks, the string breaks, your finger breaks, your arm breaks, you fall down. How can you take the claim that you are the one who's firing that arrow? It took him such a long time for a warrior of that level, an intellect of that level, surrounded by an energy of the level of Krishna. It took so long a time to just get that simple concept. Gurbani is saying the same thing. Sab gun tere main nahi koi. Guna means when the entity is attached with tu. Avguna means when it is attached with the me. And as long as it's me, there's no way to be a meditator. When guna kite, bhagta na hoy. Understand, Gurbani, it's giving you a very clear-cut, simple message. If you want to complicate it, it's up to you. Here, we have been told, all you need to do is have a bhav. That word that has been given to you is not, don't question it right in the beginning. Get on with it. If you are coming, listening to and saying, I am a Guru Nanak's Sikh and I am coming to Gurdwara and I am going to open the Granth and I am going to read it and understand it and then go home and say, well, you know, it didn't make sense. Really didn't make sense. I remember last couple of weeks ago when I was in Santa Ana, one of the guys came to me and he said, oh, the last Bani, Ragamala, there is, that is totally useless, is it not? And I said, why you say that? Well, have you not read it? I said, of course I have read it. There is no spirituality in that whole thing. I said, how do you know that? Well, point out, tell me where is the spirituality in that? I said, well, before I tell you anything, do you know if it was there when the fifth master compiled the Granth? He said, yeah. Do you know that? He said, yeah, I heard it, that is there. So do you know that when the 10th master eventually gave the final shape in Damdama Sahib, it was there also? I said, yeah. So I said, well, if you are already smarter than Guru Gobind Singh, what I am going to do? I am nowhere closer to. If Guru Gobind Singh left it there, and you are now questioning why did he leave it there, I am not anywhere closer to Guru Gobind Singh. I am not going to be able to convince you, so forget it. Believe what you want to believe. Stay with what you want to stay. When you are fundamentally questioning the one whom you are calling your master, Guru, Lord, and you are coming to him and say, give me something. Take my manmat and give me your gurmat. And then he gives you the gurmat and says, well, that's not what I want. Wait a minute. There's a paradox, there's oxymoron. How can you come to a master and say, give me something, and then when he gives you, throw it right back and say, well, that's not what I've asked for it. How did you know what was good for you? Only Master knows. You have no clue. If you did it, why would you come to the Master? The word bhav, the reason I'm spending so much time on it, that's what it requires. Not only the love for whatever you believe in, but the actual belief system that takes you, forces you, compels you to take the first step. And that's what Gurbani says. Sach je gure barak farmaya, kyon ye do bolon hatiye. This is second master, Guru Angad. When somebody asking him, why are you doing this? He said, well, I'm doing it because Guru Nanak said so. So what? So, then either I believe that my Guru is telling the truth and do it, or not do it and call my Guru a liar. And if my Guru is a liar, what I am doing here? Why am I sitting here still? If the Guru is a liar and that's my belief, then why am I sitting here? I should go somewhere and find someone who I can call the real master. And once I have called the real master, I have to accept it. So he says, Sach je gure farmaya. If it is the belief that Guru always tells the truth, then kyon edon bolo hatiye? Why should I stop doing what he told me to do? Because I have a firm faith. And Guru Nanak here in the Vani indicates, he says, Bhanda bhav amrit tetadal. If there is no bhavna, no matter what you do, there will be no amrit coming in it. If you are looking for the drop of nectar that you should experience, then you have to have that level of bhavana. So it's not only faith, it's not only belief, but it's love plus the belief. Love will keep you attached and belief will keep you going. If you just keep going and drop the love, it becomes ritual. Total dead philosophy. Why are you doing this? No, Guru said so. I have no clue, but I say he said so. No, love will actually bring you back to him and say, would you explain to me? So, bhavna is purely not enough in this process. Love purely is not enough in this process. You need bhav, both of them together. Bhanda bhav amrit dhal kadiye shabad sachi takasal. He says, no, this is what we are going to be doing. We're going to take that single word and we're going to hammer it. That sacha, that true shabad, that true word, we're going to take it and we're going to hammer it. And I am going to keep on hammering into the consciousness of my being. It's going to go so deep. It's going to go so deep. Where Naam rayo sadhu rayo Gur Gobind kaho nanak e jagat mein kir japyo Gurmant. Then that's the last stage. Ram naam ur mein gayo jaake sam nahi koi. It's going to go so deep that it is impossible even to draw a parallel. It's impossible even to compare with anything. It's impossible to even put in context with any words, any language, any experience of anybody. Now you have reaching the boundary of anhadanad, soundless sound. That's what anhadanad means. You start with the sound with the ultimate reward of getting to the soundless sound. Kariye sabad sachi taksal. Now look at how Gurbani comes and remind you right away. Say, Jinko nadar karam tenkar. This is not a doing thing. He says that if it's a grace, if a blessing is there, it will happen. Jinko nadar karam. If his blessing is there, Gurbani in Sikhism, the only time it thinks that the God is happy with a man or woman or a child, have to be very careful in this country. And it's true because over in that part of the world, one doesn't, this thought doesn't even come to the consciousness that somebody may feel offended because I said a man. Because anything is wrong anyway. He's neither a man, nor a woman, nor a he or a she, nor a black or white. He's none of them. So no matter what you say, you're going to be wrong, no matter what. So what's the difference? So it says, Jinko nadar karam tenka. Unless his blessing. Sikhism says, when is the God very happy with you? It gives a one test, just one test. It says, Kirpa kare je apani ta gurka shabad kamaye. So the definition, the real test that usdi kirpa, his blessing has come to you, is that you actually start meditating on his word. Gurka shabad kamaye. Kamai karni. Gana bajana nahi. Sunana nahi. Explain karna nahi. The word is not gaye. Word is not samjhaye. The word is kamaye. Kirpa di nishani. He is absolutely, completely happy with you because you have started on the path of meditation. Otherwise, he is with everyone equally well, all the time. With you specifically only because Udi kripa hogi tu naam jap lag gaye. That's it. God is never angry with anybody, never vengeful from everybody, never happy with anybody, never sad with anybody. All those characteristics belong to human, not to the God. Sikhism doesn't attribute any one of that. One thing only, the grace, the true grace from him. Because this is one thing he would not give you without asking for it, without crying for it, without yelling for it. Everything else is given without asking. And the funny thing is, we keep on asking that he has already given, and we don't demand what we need, what he hasn't given. So we do exactly the opposite. We say, give me more money, give me a better job, give me... The wife goes, they say, give me a better husband. Husband goes, they say, give me a better wife. Never works out. It's already there, whatever is there. So, we say, Jinko nadar karam tinkar nanak nadri nadar nihal. It says, the blissfulness to each entity comes only through his grace. So in having given the process, immediately gives a warning and cuts the feet of the ego. Aha, Guru Nanak told me that I'm going to do this, and now I'm ready to do, so tomorrow morning I'm getting up and I am doing this. Guess what? You haven't understood a thing. He immediately reminds, no, Jinko nadar karam tenkar. You will get up because he wanted you to get up, not because you wanted to get up. Remember that. Always keep that in mind. It concludes Japuji from here. There is a shloka at the end of it. Because it started with a shloka. Adi Sach, Yugadi Sach, Havi Sach, Nanak Hosi Sach. And in this shloka, Vani sums up the creation that we understood from being in the Gyan Khand. When we were passing through the Gyan Khand, we were saying, Kete paun pani vaisantar, Kete kaan mahesh, Kete bar mein ghat ghadiye, Roop rang ke ves. That wonderment is solved in a beautiful, beautiful parable. So we'll spend about 15 minutes. We won't delay too long. Even though it will demand a lot more. But imagine that there are stones, small stones and big stones in the hills, and there is a river flowing in the valley. Imagine the wind going to the stone and delivering a message. And the message to the stone is, you're wasting your life here. This is not your destiny. The smaller stones get curious, say, why is it not my destiny? What's wrong with here? I'm happy. It's about. You are not gaining anything here. Bigger stones are constantly kicking you around. And the people walk around by you and they are kicking you around. What are you gaining by? I'm telling you that your destiny is not being here. Why don't you follow me? So those few of them who listened to the wind and followed the wind with one gust took all those stones and threw them into the flowing water. And as they started drowning, and the waves are coming and the stones are crashing with each other, and as they are clashing with each other, they are breaking. They are getting smaller and smaller, and so now they say, oh my God, what did we do? We were perfectly okay over there. And the wind comes back and says, wait, don't lose patience. This is not your destiny. Well, nothing can be done. Now they're already in the swing of and the water grinds that into a fine dust and sand and throws it onto eventually the bank of the river. And while these finely grained stones are sitting there and basically repenting on why did they listen to the wind, wind goes and talk to the seed and say, this is not your destiny. What are you sitting doing here? Come with me. And the seed comes with the wind, and that wind brings the seed to those finely ground dust particles and say, why don't you hide underneath it? Those seeds which listened to the wind, well, there are a few seeds who said, no, I don't want to hide. So a little bird came, ate the seed away. The other one wanted to stay on the surface. The water came and they blew it away. A couple of seeds said, okay, fine. They went down. So as they go down, and as you know, that on the bank, that is the most fertile land. So suddenly the seed now is sprouting. And a beautiful green leaf comes up. And the leaf, wind blows by. Earlier it was just listening to the sound somewhere coming from the yonder. Now we can feel the same wind blowing. See? I told you this is not your destiny. See, now you can feel. Can't you feel I'm blowing through your... yes. See, you listen to me. And look where you are now. There you were absolutely dead. Now you can feel. So now, the tree, the plant starts growing up. Some seeds, some of those particles are going into the branches, and some of are taking detours, and some stay in the center and growing into the body of the tree. So now, because some had taken a detour, couldn't wait long enough, went into the branch, a little animal came and ate the plant, that branch. So they became part of the food of the animal. But guess what? Animal is walking. A stone which couldn't do anything can not only start feeling, develop feelings, it's become the part of the body of the animal and actually can walk. The mobility has come. Well, not only that, animal can feel, animal can think also. So now, that very seed, that very stone, that very little speck of dust, not only has the feelings, it also has the intellect. And the wind comes back again and says, wait, this wasn't your destiny. You hurried too much. You rushed too much. Okay, so those who do not go in that direction, stay in the center, they eventually end up on the top of the tree. Flower comes up, flower turns into the fruit, and the fruit finds the seed back in itself. The seed has just discovered its own journey. And a little child comes along, picks up the fruit, cuts the fruit, and eats it. And now that particle of dust says, oh my God, not only I could feel, not only I could think, I can experience the soul also now. that dust particle is now part of the human body. And the wind comes back to the human body and says, wait a minute, this is not your destiny. I want you to go further. And what the man says, well, no, I'm done. I don't want to go anymore. This much of evolution is enough. That's what has happened. This is what Pavan Guru. Why is the Pavan Guru? Because the word cannot travel from one human to the other without the air. The word cannot travel in a vacuum. And what is the word? Word is the Guru. Hence, Pavan is the Guru. What is Pavan doing? What is the word doing? You see, word is bringing the message. Constantly, from the day, every entity was nothing but a dust particle. And if those who listened to the message of the wind, and they kept on following, they got to the stage of becoming a human. And the same wind, same Guru, same word comes back and says, oh man, this is not your destiny. You are part of that ultimate cosmos. Here, someday you cry and someday you laugh. Someday you are happy and someday you are sad. Here you are someday healthy and someday sick. There is a stage of existence available to you within this body form where none of these things matter. And you can live in an ultimate blissful state. And the man refuses to listen. Those who listen, they become Kabir, they become Nanak, they become Farid. But those who don't listen, they become like me, they just talk. And the Guru says, no. Pavan Guru, Pani Pita. Why is Pani Pita? Because that particle could not have been nourished unless water was there to supply the capillary action for it to rise. What does Pita does? Help to nurture. So who's the nurturer here on the earth? You say Guru's word, the Pavan, brings it to you. And Guru in physical form sits here as a father to guide you. Pavan Guru Pani Pita. Mata Dharat Mahat. Because that seed needs a womb for to nurture. Hence a mother. Who's the mother? The earth. For all of us, the earth is the mother. Why? Because we take the food out of this. For our sustenance, everything comes from the earth. Mata Dharta Mahat. The most important Mahat. And how does the life then, the drama goes on, it says negative and positive. Dev Sarat Doe Dai Daya Khela Sagala Jagat. He says, after creating this drama, taking this particle of dust and bringing it into the life form, Har Jiyo Gufa Andar Rakh Ke Vaja Pavan Vajaya Vajaya Vaja Pavan Now Darwaje Pagad Kiye Daswan Gupt Rakhaya. Oh my Lord, what is this? He says, this is just a little gufa. Nothing but a hole in the ground. What is this body? He said, just hole. And in that hole, what have you done? He says, you have given the wind which blows like a baja. As the wind passes through the body, it blows. It makes noise. It makes sound. That's why you cannot take the credit for saying, I am talking. Why are you listening? I am speaking to you. Well, you are not speaking, really. Sorry, sir. Somebody else is speaking. It appears to be so. Because it is coming through you. But you are not speaking. Mata Dharta Mahat. Divsarat Doe Dai Daya. Says the whole life pattern is shaped with the positive and the negative coexisting. One without the other impossible. the life cannot go on. Those who ask you the question, well, where's the God? There are so many people dying over there. What a heartless God. And how come America is so rich and Ethiopia is so poor? Well, Gurbani solves that riddle very simply. It's about, that's a khel. That's a leela, as Krishna called it. That's a maya, as Buddha called it. It's an illusion. It's a drama. It's a play. Play goes on between two opposite energies. You need both of them. One without the other cannot exist. Khela is sagala jagat. The whole of the creation is not one for it is in India or it's not in America, or it is on this planet and not on that planet. It says all the planets, all the creation is moving through that dichotomy. Change aiyan, bure aiyan, vache dharma hadur. It has not to do anything with the actions the way we have described it. Change aiyan, bure aiyan, positive and negative. You cannot decide that. You cannot put a label on it. You cannot say, this is Changi, this is Mari. What this line is saying? Changi aiyan, bure aiyan, vache dharma hadur. He is the one who defines what is right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad, what's positive and negative. Not an individual human, not a collection of people, not a city, not a country, not a state. Nobody has that right to decide what is Changa and what is Bura, what's right and what's wrong, what's bad and what's good. Because reality is, neither one of them is good, neither one of them is bad, they are just choices. Vache dharma dur. The Creator, in His infinite wisdom, knows what side is what. It's not up to the human to start putting these labels. But our whole society lives under those labels. Such a tragedy with the human consciousness. Right from the day one, it gets trapped into that label and then they can get out of it. The rest of the life they keep on fighting. How do I not say this is good? How do I not say this is bad? I have grown up, learned, breathed every day. Don't do that, that's bad. Don't do this, is good. And it's mind-boggling the kind of things we have grown up with. Then each one of them, according to Freud, becomes phobias and we become schizophrenic. Personality gets subdivided into parts after parts after parts after parts. We subdivide ourselves and then fight within ourselves. And a Mahabharata going on all the time. One saying do this, then they say do that, and then say no. Inside we create those. And Gurbani says, stop that. Why? Changyaya, buryaya, vache, dharma dur. Why are you bringing that to yourself? That action, that decision does not belong to you. It belongs up there. So stop playing the God. Make the choice that currently your inner self is saying and run with it. Changyaya, buryaya, vache, dharma dur. Karmi apo apani ke nede ke dur. It all depends on what your constitution is. He is neither dur nor nede. He is neither away from you nor with you. Question is how you are looking at it. If you are looking inside, you may find him very near. If you are looking outside, you may not find him ever. Karmi apo apani. Means karma does not mean the actions. Karma means the characteristic of the being. The pattern of the being, the path of the being. Right now, you can say it's right here, right now. Or you can say, well, where? Show me. Right? That comes out of this misunderstanding. Looking spiritually, He's everywhere. You don't need to look for Him because He's not lost. You never lost it. How are you going to go find Him? You never misplaced Him. He's there, right now. In every phase, in everything, and in every event. Or, He is anywhere, no matter where you find it. It's totally your own paradigm. How do you shift this paradigm? How do you come to the ultimate realization? And Gurbani then sums it up. In the last two lines, it sums it up. It says, Jinni naam dhyaya. Dhyaya doesn't mean dinane ke unu repeat kita hai. Dhya means those who have gotten to that third stage. Start with Japana, Japana becomes Simrana, Simrana becomes Dhyana, Dhyana becomes Samadhi. Those who have gotten to the third stage, those who have completed what? Sarvakhand. Why I say that? Look at the next line, word. Jinni naam te aaya, aage kya hai rehne? Gaye mashakkat khal. Mashakkat means hard work. Ghalana. Those who have that burning desire, burning need, certain urges, certain urgency, oh my God, I need to get out of this life of plus and minus, right and wrong. I want to get to certain different stage. They immediately get on the path of dharma, go to the Gyan Marga, get to the Sarvakhand, and they just stay there and they keep on working and working and working and working. Gaye mashakkat ghal. And then what happens? If His grace accepts that you get to the Karmakhand, in Karmakhand, Nanak te mukh ujale. Meaning what? Mukh ujale means all of that karma which is negative, dark in nature has been cleared out. And now you get accepted. If you get accepted and ready to go into Karmakhand, what will happen? You say, Keti Chutti Nal. Now this confuses a lot of people. That means you only need one person in the whole community and one does the meditation, everybody else is okay. That's not what he's saying. Keti Chutti Nal. He says, how too many people get benefited by you. How? When I have an action with you, positive or negative. If I did a negative to you, I will have to appear for you to pay the price of that negative. If I did positive to you, I will have to appear to collect the reward of that positive. So in either case, we are joined. That's why I say, Karmi ave kapada nadari moktwa. Karm jeda hai, that action only brings the new body. It doesn't get you out of it. So, whether I got a good body or a bad body, good birth cycle or a bad birth cycle, the bottom line is I still came. Okay. Now let's assume for a minute that you did the mashakkat and you burned all of the karma and you have been accepted. Now, I didn't do anything, but you did. You have been accepted. So what happens then? My bond with you with broken now. Right? You went. You are not coming back. You are not coming because of your mashakkat kal. But I am benefiting because without I having to do it, you broke the thread of the karma. Now I do not have to repeat because of you. Just because of you. I may be coming because of him, but now I am not repeating the life cycle because of the one who has evolved. That's what this line means. Keti Chutti Nal. All of those who were tied with you, who would otherwise have repeated the cycle, now don't have to repeat the cycle because of you. So they get freed of. So this is their indirect benefit of your getting to Te Mukhujale stage. So the whole objective of Jap was to start the seeker, the Jagyasu, on the path, show the plus or minus of all that has gone in prior to this system of meditation came into existence, then give the actual method and say, here's what it is, go do it. So may God give us the strength, the energy, the desire, the willpower to get on that path. This concludes the Japuji today. I hope you can see how humbling an experience that it is for someone like me to be able to complete the journey with that kind of a love and affection that coming from you. It is possible only when such a grace is available. So I want to express my gratitude to you in the form of that creative energy and to that creator who made this all possible. that we were able to finish this. I leave up to the congregation as to what we want to pick up starting 2 weeks from today. A new topic, a new chapter, a new Bani. I will be completely open. With that, I want to thank you all for coming, and we will open for any discussions. Thank you.